Hello friends. What happens when the king of the zodiac, Leo, falls for the graceful and harmonious Libra? It's a match that radiates beauty, charisma, and fire. But can two lovers so enamored with attention, admiration, and balance truly keep their relationship steady? Or will their shared need for validation turn their connection into a constant performance for each other and the world? Let's dive deep into the cosmic chemistry between a Leo man and a Libra woman, uncovering the beauty, the challenges, and the magic that make their love story one of the most captivating in the zodiac. After watching, if you'd like to support the channel, click the Thanks button right under this video or use the donation alerts link in the description. Your support really helps me keep creating. And of course, if you enjoy the content, please give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks so much for being here. Now let's continue. Chemistry. Initial attraction. When Leo meets Libra, something electric happens, not a faint spark but a cosmic surge that feels almost predestined. It's the kind of chemistry that doesn't simply hum in the background, it roars like a song written by the stars themselves. Leo, ruled by the blazing sun, steps into the world as if he were born beneath a spotlight that never dims. He doesn't just enter a room, he arrives, like warmth spilling into cold air, immediately altering the atmosphere. His confidence is magnetic, his laughter rings with the joy of someone who believes deeply in life, and his natural charisma commands attention even before he says a word. Libra, under the soft and sensual rule of Venus, notices him almost instinctively. It isn't just attraction, it's recognition, like two frequencies aligning. She sees not just his physical charm but the nobility that radiates from his presence. His posture, his voice, even the casual way he gestures, everything about him speaks of self-assurance, of a man who knows who he is and expects the world to take notice. For Libra, who adores beauty in all forms, in art, words, gestures, and energy, Leo is a masterpiece in motion. And Leo? He's immediately captivated. There's something about Libra that feels untouchable yet inviting. Her grace is fluid, effortless, almost otherworldly. She moves as if she's perpetually accompanied by a soft symphony that only she can hear. When she speaks, her words glide, never stumble. When she listens, she does it with a presence so gentle it makes him want to reveal his entire soul. Leo, so used to dazzling others, suddenly finds himself dazzled. Libra's beauty isn't loud or boastful. It's the kind that sneaks up on you, like sunlight spilling through curtains at dawn. Their first meeting feels like a movie scene slowed down for dramatic effect. The glance that lasts 1 second too long. The spark of curiosity igniting between two people who haven't said a word yet but already know that something significant just shifted in their universe. The air thickens. The world quiets. Suddenly, there's only them. A smile from Libra, poised, knowing. A playful comment from Leo, confident, teasing. Laughter follows, unforced and musical. It's the kind of laughter that comes from a place of recognition, like meeting an old friend in a new lifetime. Libra's elegance smooths the rougher edges of Leo's flame. She brings calm to his fire, turning his boldness into something refined, something seductive rather than overwhelming. Her very presence whispers balance into his chaos. And Leo's bold energy awakens Libra's playful side, the part of her that loves adventure, risk, and the thrill of stepping outside her comfort zone. Together, they form a dance of opposites that somehow fit perfectly, fire meeting air, creating movement, warmth, and life. There's a fascinating symmetry between them. Leo shines outwardly, radiant, expressive, a performer of life itself. Libra shines inwardly, reflective, diplomatic, the artist of emotional connection. When their energies merge, it's like the sunrise reflected on a still lake, vibrant light mirrored in tranquil water. The chemistry isn't just physical, it's intellectual and emotional too. Their conversations flow effortlessly, not because they agree on everything, but because they love the exchange. Leo brings passion to every topic, infusing words with color and conviction. Libra listens, balances, and responds with thoughtfulness, always making him feel heard and admired. She knows how to feed his fire without letting it burn uncontrolled. He, in turn, teaches her to express herself more boldly, to step out from behind her charm and reveal her desires without hesitation. Romance between them feels like art, deliberate, beautiful, intentional. Leo loves grand gestures, the bouquet of roses just because, the handwritten notes, the spontaneous weekend trips. Libra adores the artistry of these moments, savoring every detail. The scent of the flowers, the cadence of his words, the warmth of his hand in hers. Together, they create a love story that's not rushed but savored, each chapter unfolding like a carefully composed melody. And yet, beneath the glamour and perfection of their early chemistry, there lies a deeper test. Both Leo and Libra are drawn to admiration. They need to be seen, appreciated, validated. At first, they happily provide that for each other. Leo showers Libra with compliments, elevating her like a queen. Libra returns the favor, adoring his strength and applauding his achievements. It feels mutual, endless, intoxicating. But true chemistry, the kind that lasts, isn't just built on the surface of admiration. It's sustained by the roots of understanding. For their connection to evolve beyond infatuation, they must learn to love each other not only for how they shine, but for how they struggle. Libra must see the vulnerability behind Leo's pride, the boy inside the man who fears losing his light. Leo must see the quiet strength behind Libra's politeness, the woman who hides her storm behind a smile. If they can reach that level of depth, the attraction becomes something divine, no longer just physical or social, but spiritual. They start to feel like two energies meant to uplift each other. He, the sun that gives her warmth; she, the breeze that cools his heat. Together, they create a cycle of balance, illumination without burnout, passion without chaos. Their love radiates outward. People notice them, not because they demand attention, but because they emanate naturally. They laugh often, touch frequently, and finish each other's sentences. They make even mundane moments, sipping coffee, walking hand in hand, exchanging glances across a crowded space, feel cinematic. There's always that spark, that unspoken electricity that keeps them leaning closer, whispering softer, loving deeper. Yet, the most beautiful thing about their chemistry is its evolution. The initial magnetism may draw them together, but it's the mutual respect that keeps them there. Libra admires Leo's courage, his refusal to shrink, his loyalty to those he loves, his ability to make her feel adored. Leo reveres Libra's grace, her fairness, her diplomacy, the way she turns every argument into understanding instead of division. Over time, they realize that the true magic lies not in being admired by the world, but in being seen by each other, truly seen. In a world obsessed with appearances, their bond becomes a quiet rebellion against superficiality. Their attraction deepens into something tender, something unspoken, the kind of connection that doesn't need to perform because it simply is. Yes, when Leo meets Libra, the chemistry roars. But it's not just noise, it's music. It's the steady rhythm of two souls harmonizing, learning, and choosing, again and again, to orbit within each other's light. For beneath the glitz, the charm, and the radiant glow, there's something timeless about this pairing, a reminder that when fire meets air, passion doesn't consume. It creates emotional dynamics. Emotionally, the connection between a Leo man and a Libra woman is both a masterpiece of harmony and a battlefield of subtle contrasts. It's a dance of warmth and balance, of fire and air, where emotions swirl like a duet, sometimes breathtakingly in sync, sometimes clashing with beautiful chaos. At their best, they are two emotional artists who create love like music. At their worst, they're two opposing instruments trying to play in the same key but with different rhythms. Leo feels everything loudly. His emotions don't whisper, they blaze. When he's happy, the whole world knows it. When he's in love, he doesn't just show it, he announces it. His affection is a declaration, a proud anthem that demands to be heard. He's the man who will post a picture of his lover not because he wants attention, but because he genuinely wants the universe to witness his joy. His love is full of exclamation points, never ellipses. Libra, on the other hand, feels deeply, but gracefully. Her emotions flow like water over smooth stones. She doesn't rush into declarations or drown in drama. She observes, weighs, balances. For her, love is not about making noise but about creating peace. She wants her heart to feel steady, her affection to feel mutual. Every emotional exchange is a dialogue, not a monologue. While Leo shouts his love from rooftops, Libra writes it in elegant, thoughtful lines between the moments of everyday life. When these two meet emotionally, something beautiful happens. Leo's warmth wraps around Libra like sunlight through glass, filling her with a sense of safety she rarely feels. He gives her a sense of belonging, a home inside his heart where she can breathe without judgment. For Libra, who often spends her life trying to please everyone and maintain balance, Leo's loyalty feels grounding. He doesn't want a love that floats in the air, he wants one that roars, and he pulls her closer until she feels its pulse. Meanwhile, Libra's gentleness tempers Leo's intensity. Her calm voice, her thoughtful words, her ability to see both sides, all of it helps cool his fiery emotions without extinguishing them. When his pride swells or his frustrations spark, she becomes the steady breeze that whispers him back into control. She has an instinctive understanding of his ego, not in a manipulative way, but with empathy. She knows that beneath his bravado lies a man who needs to feel valued. And she provides that validation not through flattery, but through sincerity. But emotional harmony between them doesn't come without effort. Leo's fire can sometimes burn too hot. His emotions are passionate but volatile, easily ignited, easily wounded. If he feels ignored, he doesn't sulk quietly, he erupts. His anger is theatrical, his disappointment visible. He craves reassurance like oxygen, needing to know he's still the center of her world. Libra, however, handles emotional storms differently. Conflict makes her uncomfortable, not because she's weak, but because she despises chaos. She prefers to keep things balanced, to smooth over tension rather than confront it directly. When Leo's temper flares, she often responds with silence or retreat, hoping her calmness will diffuse the fire. But to Leo, silence can feel like rejection, a wound deeper than anger. And that's where their emotional dissonance begins. To bridge that divide, they both must evolve. Leo must learn that vulnerability doesn't always need a stage, that sometimes love is quiet, private, and patient. Libra must realize that peace doesn't always mean avoidance, that honesty, even when uncomfortable, can build a stronger bond than politeness. When he learns to listen without demanding validation, and she learns to speak without fear of discord, their relationship transforms into something beautifully resilient. There's an emotional rhythm that emerges between them once they sync. Leo becomes the pulse, strong, steady, full of life. Libra becomes the melody, soft, graceful, endlessly harmonious. Together, they create a love that feels both secure and exciting. They understand each other's emotional languages, even if they sometimes translate differently. He gives her confidence, she gives him serenity. Over time, they start to anticipate each other's emotional needs. Leo learns when to turn down his volume, when to offer tenderness instead of dominance. Libra learns when to step forward instead of stepping back, when to match his passion rather than temper it. Through this dance, they build a foundation of trust that feels both exhilarating and comforting. Their emotional intimacy grows in layers. On the surface, they share laughter, affection, and charm, but underneath lies a deeper exchange of emotional energy. Libra begins to open up in ways she never expected, discovering that Leo's emotional intensity can actually liberate her from overthinking. She learns to feel, not just analyze. Leo, in turn, discovers that Libra's emotional steadiness doesn't mean she feels less, it means she feels wisely. Her balance teaches him that love doesn't have to be a performance, it can also be a sanctuary. When they clash, and they inevitably will, it's rarely about malice. It's about misunderstanding. Leo's pride meets Libra's diplomacy, and sometimes that creates tension. But what saves them is their shared desire for connection. Neither likes emotional distance. Even when they argue, there's a magnetic pull that drags them back together. Their reconciliations are tender, sometimes even romantic, the kind that ends not in resentment, but in laughter and renewed closeness. Emotionally, their love story is one of growth. They teach each other lessons that no other sign could quite deliver. Leo learns patience, humility, and the beauty of emotional subtlety. Libra learns courage, directness, and the power of emotional authenticity. They polish each other like two stones tumbling in the same current, smoother, brighter, more refined with each passing wave. At their most evolved, Leo and Libra become each other's emotional anchor and wings. He grounds her when her indecision leaves her floating. She lifts him when his self-doubt drags him down. They don't just love, they balance love. They learn that true connection isn't about perfection, it's about complementing each other's emotional rhythms until the contrast becomes harmony. In the end, their emotional dynamic thrives on two key ingredients: admiration and reassurance. Leo needs to feel celebrated, to know that his efforts are seen, his love appreciated. Libra needs to feel cherished, to know that her gentleness isn't mistaken for weakness. When they remember to give each other what the other craves, they create an emotional bond that can withstand any storm. Because love between them isn't just about passion or peace, it's about the sacred space in between. It's the moment after the fire, when the warmth still lingers, the calm after the argument, when hands find each other again. It's the realization that no matter how different their emotional languages are, they're both saying the same thing in their own way: I see you. I choose you. I feel you. And that, in the end, is what makes their emotional connection so rare. It's not built on perfection, but on understanding. On the courage to stay, to listen, to keep loving even when the music momentarily falters. Because for Leo and Libra, emotions aren't just reactions, they're art. And together, they paint love in every shade the heart can hold. Long-term compatibility. When it comes to the long-term dance of love between Leo and Libra, their story reads like an epic novel, full of warmth, growth, and golden light. These two are not just lovers, they are co-creators of a life that feels both vivid and refined. They have the potential to build something lasting, but longevity between fire and air isn't automatic. It depends on how they evolve together, how they balance their differences, and how they choose to nurture the love they built in the beginning when everything was fresh, thrilling, and cinematic. At first, their relationship feels like fireworks, passionate, magnetic, impossibly alive. But over the years, those fireworks either fade into ashes or transform into a steady, glowing flame. The key lies in transformation, in learning that long-term love isn't sustained by grand gestures alone but by consistent emotional generosity and genuine understanding. Leo and Libra, both ruled by celestial bodies that adore attention, the Sun and Venus, have to learn how to shine together without outshining each other. Leo brings to the partnership an undeniable strength, courage, focus, and a powerful sense of direction. He knows what he wants, and once he commits, he stands by his word. His loyalty becomes a cornerstone of their shared life. Libra, on the other hand, brings grace, fairness, and a remarkable sense of perspective. Where Leo might charge ahead with bold confidence, Libra pauses to ask, but is this fair? Is this right? How will it affect us both? She balances his fiery determination with calm rationality, ensuring that their shared journey doesn't become one-sided. Over time, they begin to perfect a rhythm, one that feels like a waltz between passion and poise. Libra helps Leo transform his dramatic impulses into refined expressions of creativity. She teaches him that strength doesn't always mean volume and that patience is its own form of power. Through her example, he learns to channel his fire into projects, dreams, and goals that not only serve his ambitions but also bring harmony to their shared life. Leo, in return, gives Libra something precious: confidence. He reminds her that perfection isn't the goal, authenticity is. Libra, ever the diplomat and people-pleaser, often hesitates to make decisions for fear of disappointing someone. But Leo, with his fearless heart, pushes her toward action. He shows her that sometimes love requires boldness, that commitment is a leap, not a calculation. Under his encouragement, she learns to trust her intuition and to believe that she doesn't have to overthink what her heart already knows. Their shared love for beauty, art, and social connection keeps their bond alive and glowing through the years. They are the couple everyone notices, not because they're loud or extravagant, but because they radiate joy. They dress well, laugh easily, and seem to bring light wherever they go. Friends admire their balance, Leo's warmth complemented by Libra's elegance. They're the type of couple who turn a simple dinner into a memory, a small gathering into an event. Together, they live beautifully, not for appearances, but because they both genuinely appreciate the artistry of life. However, that same aesthetic alignment can also become a trap if they aren't careful. Both Leo and Libra care deeply about how the world perceives them. They enjoy admiration, and there's nothing wrong with that, as long as it doesn't replace authenticity. When they start performing for the world instead of connecting for themselves, cracks begin to form. They risk becoming the perfect couple in photos but distant partners in private. The challenge, then, is to remember that true beauty in love isn't found in perfection. It's found in presence, in vulnerability, in the messy honesty of real connection. In long-term love, Leo must guard against letting pride dominate his emotional instincts. He should remember that leadership in love isn't about control but about protection and generosity. A Leo who listens is infinitely more powerful than a Leo who simply demands to be heard. Libra, meanwhile, must resist the urge to suppress her needs for the sake of peace. True balance doesn't mean silence, it means communication, even when the words feel heavy. If she can speak up, and he can soften down, they become nearly unstoppable. As the years roll on, their relationship deepens. The early heat transforms into steady warmth, the kind of affection that shows up in small gestures. The way Leo still opens doors for her. The way Libra still compliments him on his drive. The way their laughter fills a quiet room even after decades together. They begin to understand that love is not just a feeling, but a decision, one they continue to make, even on days when the world feels dull or demanding. When life challenges them, as it always does, their differences become their greatest allies. Leo's courage helps them face adversity without fear, while Libra's diplomacy ensures they do so with grace. He protects their bond from external threats, she protects it from internal imbalance. Together, they create an emotional ecosystem that feels both passionate and peaceful, where both can thrive without diminishing the other. It's this harmony that allows their love to endure. Even in silence, they feel each other's presence, like the warmth of sunlight behind closed curtains, like a soft wind that never stops moving. They learn to find excitement in stability, to see romance not just in passion but in partnership. A shared cup of morning coffee, a knowing glance at a crowded event, the quiet act of choosing each other again, those become the moments that define their forever. Of course, they will have disagreements. Leo's intensity will sometimes clash with Libra's indecision. There will be times when he feels she's too diplomatic, too detached, too unwilling to take a stand. And there will be times when she feels he's too proud, too forceful, too consumed by his own vision. But what sustains them is their willingness to learn. Both are ruled by love, Leo by the heart, Libra by the ideal of harmony, and love becomes their shared language of reconciliation. In the long arc of their story, they grow from lovers into partners, from dreamers into builders. Their relationship becomes a sanctuary, a blend of passion and peace, warmth and wisdom. They might start as opposites, but as they mature, they evolve into complements so seamless that it's hard to tell where one ends and the other begins. And perhaps that's the most beautiful part of their long-term compatibility. The realization that love isn't about merging into one being, but about orbiting each other endlessly, two souls, distinct yet connected, feeding each other's light. They remind us that true compatibility isn't static. It's dynamic, alive, a living conversation between hearts that refuse to stop growing. So yes, this golden couple can make it for the long haul, not because they never falter, but because they choose to rise together every time they do. They keep laughing, they keep flirting, they keep holding hands under the stars, remembering that their love was never meant to burn out. It was meant to evolve, to glow. Because when Leo and Libra learn to grow together, their love doesn't just last. It shines. Communication, conflict resolution. This is where the dance between fire and air becomes most delicate, the art of conversation between Leo and Libra. It's not merely about words, it's about energy, rhythm, timing, and intention. When Leo speaks, he doesn't simply communicate, he radiates. His words come from the heart, wrapped in warmth and conviction. His tone carries the authority of someone who believes deeply in what he says. When he's happy, his voice is music. When he's hurt, it's thunder. Libra, by contrast, moves through language like a composer of harmony. Every word she chooses has purpose, every pause has grace. She thinks before she speaks, sensing emotional currents like a diplomat reading a room. Where Leo's communication blazes, Libra's flows. At first glance, their differences seem like friction. Leo's passion can feel overwhelming to Libra's sensitivity, while Libra's measured responses can seem evasive to Leo's fiery directness. Yet these same differences, when understood, become their greatest strength. Leo teaches Libra the beauty of bold expression, the courage to say what she feels without apology. Libra, in turn, shows Leo the elegance of restraint, that not every truth must be shouted, that silence can sometimes carry more weight than words. When life is calm and love is thriving, their conversations unfold effortlessly. They can talk for hours about everything: art, dreams, politics, the meaning of success, or the intricate emotions of the human heart. Leo loves Libra's wit. She challenges him intellectually while also making him feel admired. Libra loves Leo's enthusiasm. His energy pulls her out of indecision and reminds her that ideas aren't just meant to be discussed, they're meant to be lived. Their communication, when in sync, feels like a dance. His passion feeds her curiosity, her grace cools his flame. But when conflict enters, the stage shifts. Leo's pride, noble as it may be, often becomes a barrier to compromise. He needs to feel heard, respected, and validated before he can truly listen. Libra, on the other hand, dreads confrontation. Her instinct is to smooth things over, to keep peace even if it means sacrificing clarity. She fears that anger will ruin the beauty they've built. He fears that avoidance will erode honesty. This is the heart of their communication tension. One seeks expression, the other seeks equilibrium. When Leo feels dismissed or misunderstood, his tone rises. His words become dramatic, sometimes even theatrical. He doesn't mean to dominate, he just feels so much that his emotions can't help but spill into his speech. To him, silence feels like rejection. To Libra, that same intensity feels like a storm. Her natural reaction is to retreat, to step back, to restore balance internally before she can re-engage. Unfortunately, her withdrawal often fuels his frustration further, creating a loop of miscommunication. The more she avoids, the more he demands. The more he demands, the more she withdraws. The solution to their communication puzzle lies in timing and tone. Leo must learn that not every silence is defiance, sometimes it's reflection. If he can temper his fire, speak with warmth instead of heat, Libra will feel safe enough to open up. She needs emotional safety, not verbal victory. Libra, in turn, must realize that diplomacy isn't always peacekeeping. Sometimes peace requires confrontation. Speaking her truth, even when uncomfortable, honors both herself and Leo. When she finds her voice, steady, honest, loving, Leo listens. His pride softens under sincerity. Their love language, in communication, becomes an exchange of honesty and empathy. When Leo says, "Tell me what you really feel," and Libra replies with unguarded vulnerability, they build trust. When Libra says, "I need a softer tone," and Leo listens without defensiveness, they build intimacy. Each learns to give the other what they crave. Leo gives reassurance through presence. Libra gives reassurance through understanding. Even in arguments, affection finds its way back to them. Neither likes prolonged coldness. Leo can't stand emotional distance. His warmth withers without connection. Libra can't stand discord. Her heart aches in tension. So after every disagreement, there's always a moment of reconciliation. Sometimes it's a playful remark, sometimes a lingering glance across the room, sometimes just the gentle touch of a hand that says, "We're okay." Their ability to forgive quickly is one of their emotional superpowers. They don't hold grudges because both understand that harmony, once restored, feels far more satisfying than being right. Over time, their communication evolves into a symphony of mutual awareness. They begin to predict each other's moods, reading subtleties in tone and body language that others might miss. Leo learns to pause before reacting. Libra learns to stay before retreating. When conflicts arise, they handle them with growing maturity. He counts to 10 before speaking. She meets his gaze instead of avoiding it. They start to treat disagreements not as threats but as opportunities to understand each other better. There's also humor, a secret weapon in their communication arsenal. Both share a natural charm and wit that can diffuse tension faster than any argument can escalate it. A single playful comment from Libra can melt Leo's pride. A single compliment from Leo can turn Libra's irritation into laughter. Their ability to return to laughter, to find joy in the midst of friction, is what keeps their bond light even when life grows heavy. Still, they must be vigilant. Communication, like love, is an ongoing art. If Leo lets his ego dominate the dialogue, Libra will start to censor herself, and resentment will quietly bloom. If Libra overuses diplomacy and hides behind politeness, Leo will feel emotionally starved, craving authenticity over agreement. The challenge is to meet in the middle, where truth and tact coexist. When they manage that balance, their connection becomes nearly unbreakable. In long-term communication, Leo and Libra learn to translate each other's emotional dialects. He learns that her calm isn't indifference, it's her way of processing. She learns that his intensity isn't anger, it's passion misdirected. They begin to listen not just to each other's words but to each other's intentions. Their communication matures from reactive to reflective, from defensive to collaborative. What truly sustains them, though, is their shared desire to fix things. Both are builders of harmony in their own way. Leo repairs through affection, a kiss, a gift, a grand apology. Libra repairs through dialogue, gentle questions, soothing logic, reaffirmations of love. Together, they create a cycle of resolution that's as beautiful as it is effective. Disagreements end not in bitterness but in understanding. Each fight becomes a bridge, not a wall. Ultimately, communication between Leo and Libra is a constant balancing act, a tightrope between passion and poise, truth and tenderness. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Their conversations, even the difficult ones, remind them of why they fell in love. Because when fire meets air, words don't just travel, they ignite. And in that shared flame, even conflict becomes connection, and every misunderstanding becomes a chance to love each other a little better. Physical intimate connection. Let's talk chemistry, because this is where Leo and Libra truly shine, in the kind of way that seems almost unfair to everyone else. Theirs is not an ordinary attraction, it's magnetic, irresistible, and laced with an undercurrent of artistry. When Leo and Libra come together, they don't just make love, they create it, shape it, perform it, live it. Every glance becomes a spark, every touch a language, every moment an unspoken promise. From the beginning, there's something electric between them, something that feels both familiar and thrillingly new, like the first rays of sunrise touching the surface of still water. Leo's passion doesn't tiptoe. He enters the realm of intimacy the same way he enters a room, with confidence, boldness, and heat. He's expressive, unapologetically physical, and eager to make his partner feel desired. For Leo, touch isn't just affection, it's adoration translated into motion. His hands are storytellers, his kisses, declarations. He wants to be admired, not only for his strength but for his ability to give pleasure. His body speaks a language of loyalty and pride, as though every caress says, "You are mine, and I am yours." Libra, in contrast, moves with an effortless sensuality that seems to flow from somewhere divine. Ruled by Venus, she is a natural artist of love. She understands rhythm, atmosphere, and emotional nuance instinctively. Her approach to intimacy is gentle but deliberate. She knows how to build anticipation, how to make a moment linger, how to turn the simple act of closeness into something poetic. To her, intimacy isn't just physical union, it's emotional art. She doesn't just respond to Leo's intensity, she mirrors it with her own soft, graceful power. Together, they form a stunning balance of passion and poise. Leo brings the flame, Libra brings the air that feeds it. Their connection feels like a dance, fluid, rhythmic, endlessly captivating. When they are together, the world seems to fall away. There's no rush, no awkwardness, no hesitation. Every gesture flows into the next as though choreographed by instinct itself. The room fills with warmth, laughter, whispered compliments, and that quiet kind of magic that only happens when two people truly see each other. Leo's intensity awakens Libra's curiosity. She is drawn to his energy, to his fearless affection. His confidence makes her feel beautiful, alive, and free. He, in turn, finds inspiration in her elegance. She softens him, draws out his tenderness, encourages him to explore the emotional side of passion rather than just the physical. With her, Leo learns that intimacy isn't about conquest, it's about connection. He becomes not just a lover, but a romantic in the purest sense. Their love life thrives on aesthetics, and this cannot be overstated. Both Leo and Libra have a deep appreciation for beauty, symmetry, and atmosphere. To them, romance is an experience that should feel beautiful. Candlelight, silk sheets, soft music, fragrant oils, whispered words, these aren't indulgences, they're necessities. They understand that the setting matters, that the environment becomes part of the intimacy itself. In this way, their physical connection feels elevated, almost cinematic. They're the kind of couple who make love look like art, sensual, graceful, and deeply emotional. But for all their harmony, there's still the challenge of balance. Leo, ruled by the sun, sometimes treats intimacy as a performance, a grand expression of passion, energy, and dominance. He wants to impress, to dazzle, to hear admiration in his partner's sighs. And while Libra adores his passion, she occasionally feels the need for more emotional depth, more quiet tenderness. She wants to be not just adored, but understood. If Leo forgets this, if he focuses too much on the show and not enough on the soul, their connection can begin to feel one-sided. Libra's challenge, on the other hand, lies in her tendency to please. She's a giver, emotionally, mentally, and physically. She wants her partner to feel happy, fulfilled, and satisfied. But sometimes, in her quest for harmony, she may suppress her own desires. She might hesitate to voice what she truly wants, fearing it might disrupt the peace. Leo, for all his confidence, doesn't want a silent admirer. He wants a partner who responds, who meets him with equal fire. When Libra learns to express her own needs without fear, the dynamic shifts beautifully. The relationship deepens, intimacy becomes mutual, and both begin to give and receive in equal measure. The emotional undertone of their physical relationship is what makes it extraordinary. It's not just about pleasure, it's about connection, validation, and creation. They use touch as communication, as reassurance, as poetry. When Leo wraps Libra in his arms, it's not merely desire, it's protection, devotion, and pride. When Libra touches Leo, it's not just affection, it's grace, balance, and quiet confidence. Together, they learn that physical intimacy is the most honest language of love, where words are unnecessary and emotions speak louder than any confession. There's an element of playfulness that keeps their connection fresh, even after years together. Leo loves to surprise Libra, spontaneous gestures, teasing whispers, moments of affectionate boldness that make her blush and laugh. Libra returns the favor by creating experiences that engage all the senses: the right music, the perfect lighting, the touch of something silky against skin. Their intimacy doesn't grow stale because they both understand that love, like art, must be continually reimagined. Even outside the bedroom, their physical chemistry lingers. They're naturally affectionate, the kind of couple who hold hands in public, exchange lingering kisses at red lights, or rest their foreheads together during conversations. Their connection radiates warmth that others can feel. Friends might tease them for being inseparable, but there's nothing forced about it. Their closeness feels organic, a reflection of how deeply intertwined their hearts and bodies truly are. And yet, perhaps the most powerful aspect of their intimacy is how it evolves over time. In the early stages, it's all fire and fascination, a whirlwind of discovery and desire. But as they grow together, that passion transforms into something steadier, deeper, and more profound. They begin to find beauty in the quiet moments, in holding each other after a long day, in tracing fingertips over familiar skin, in knowing exactly what the other needs without saying a word. Their love becomes not just a spark but a steady flame, one that warms rather than burns. This growth reflects their maturity as partners. Leo learns that his power in love doesn't come from dominance, but from vulnerability, from allowing himself to love without armor. Libra learns that her beauty isn't just in her grace, but in her honesty, in saying, "This is what I want, too." Together, they turn intimacy into something spiritual, an exchange not just of pleasure, but of energy, trust, and truth. Their physical connection, at its peak, becomes a kind of emotional dialogue, a conversation of souls through touch. There are no misunderstandings here, no masks, no ego. In those moments, Leo's fire softens into warmth, and Libra's air condenses into breathless stillness. They meet halfway, between his need to be seen and her desire to feel safe, and in that space, they create something that transcends the physical altogether. So yes, their chemistry is undeniable, their passion magnetic. But what truly makes their connection extraordinary is the soul behind the spark, the way they merge art and affection, desire and devotion. When Leo remembers that love is not about performance but presence, and when Libra remembers that harmony doesn't mean silence, they create a union that's not just physical, it's eternal. Because in the end, Leo and Libra don't just make love, they become love. They embody it, live it, breathe it, and, in their most intimate moments, redefine what it truly means to be one. Shared values, life goals. Leo and Libra share many values that form the backbone of their magnetic connection, the kind that can turn attraction into legacy. Beneath the glamour, laughter, and romance lies something sturdier, a deep alignment of ideals that keeps them moving in the same direction, even when life's winds shift. For both, love is not casual, it's sacred. Loyalty isn't optional, it's foundational. They believe in partnership not as convenience but as art, something to be cultivated, celebrated, and protected. They both crave not only affection but admiration. They want a love that feels beautiful to live in and inspiring to witness. For Leo, values revolve around courage, loyalty, and self-expression. He wants to live boldly, to make his mark, to stand for something larger than himself. His sun-ruled nature pushes him toward leadership, creation, and recognition. He thrives when he feels admired, not out of vanity alone, but because admiration, for Leo, is proof that his light is reaching others. Libra, ruled by Venus, values harmony, grace, and justice. She seeks fairness in all things, in love, in friendship, in the world. She's not drawn to chaos but to equilibrium. To her, beauty and peace are forms of truth, not decoration. When she loves, she wants not domination but balance, two hearts moving together in rhythm, neither overshadowing the other. What makes their shared values so powerful is how they complete what the other lacks. Leo's fire gives direction and vitality to Libra's ideals, while Libra's air refines and uplifts Leo's ambition. Together, they embody the harmony of action and thought, of passion and poise. Their relationship becomes not just about emotion, but evolution, the constant shaping of dreams into something tangible. In life, both are driven by a desire to build something meaningful, not only success, but significance. Leo dreams in bold strokes, a career that shines, a home filled with laughter, adventures that become stories worth retelling. Libra dreams in elegant detail, a life of balance, art, and connection, where every choice feels purposeful and every relationship reflects love and respect. When they merge these visions, the result is a relationship that feels like art in motion, structured, yet free. They are a true power couple in the truest, quietest sense. It's not just about glamour or social attention, though they often have plenty of both. It's about shared ambition, the belief that life should be lived fully. They love to create together, plans, traditions, communities, even atmospheres. They're the couple who throws the dinner party where everyone feels seen, the pair who travels with curiosity, who decorates their home not just beautifully but meaningfully, with pieces that tell a story of their shared journey. Their shared appreciation for culture, aesthetics, and experience becomes the heartbeat of their bond. Art galleries, theater nights, beach sunsets, and long conversations over wine, these are not indulgences but nourishment for them. Leo's dramatic flair complements Libra's refined taste. Together, they elevate everything they touch, not because they're trying to impress the world, but because beauty and passion are how they express love. In their shared goals, there's also a natural rhythm. Leo dreams big and moves fast. He's the fire starter, the visionary. Libra, ever the strategist, helps him channel that energy productively. Where Leo might chase 5 dreams at once, Libra gently organizes the chaos, helping him focus, refine, and balance. She becomes the quiet architect behind his triumphs, and he, in turn, becomes the fierce supporter of her peace. Leo reminds Libra that comfort can sometimes become complacency, that taking risks is part of living fully. Libra reminds Leo that success without serenity can hollow out the joy of achievement. Together, they learn to dream with purpose and act with grace. Of course, their paths occasionally diverge. Leo's hunger for recognition can sometimes clash with Libra's longing for tranquility. He might crave the stage while she craves stillness. His need to be seen might unsettle her desire for privacy and emotional quiet. But the beauty of their bond is in how they navigate those differences. When Leo remembers that peace isn't weakness and Libra remembers that ambition isn't arrogance, they find their middle ground, one where both can thrive. Their shared values also extend to love's ethics. Neither takes loyalty lightly. Leo's word is his bond. Betrayal wounds him deeply. Libra, who values fairness above all, could never find peace in dishonesty or manipulation. They both admire integrity, in each other, in their friends, and in their own reflections. That mutual respect becomes the moral gravity of their relationship, the thing that keeps them steady when emotions fluctuate. They are also united by a belief in generosity. Leo gives from the heart, gifts, affection, time, attention. Libra gives through understanding, listening, supporting, uplifting. Together, they create a love that feels both warm and wise. They're not content to simply have love. They want to grow it, to make it richer, more meaningful, more refined with each year. In friendship and social life, their shared values shine publicly. They love people, connection, and the art of belonging. They are the couple others look up to, not because they are perfect, but because they make love look effortless. They know how to complement each other's strengths in public. Leo's charisma lights up the room, Libra's diplomacy keeps everything smooth. There's a quiet teamwork between them, an unspoken understanding of who leads when and why. Their long-term life goals often align around happiness, stability, and creative fulfillment. They both crave a home that feels like a sanctuary, full of laughter, beauty, and shared memories. They value comfort but not complacency, tradition but not stagnation. Both want to leave behind something lasting, whether it's art, family, influence, or simply the echo of kindness and love they brought into others' lives. If they face obstacles, they face them side by side. Leo brings courage, Libra brings perspective. He reminds her to keep moving forward when doubts creep in. She reminds him to pause, reflect, and act with grace. This balance of strength and serenity is what allows them to weather storms without losing their sense of unity. Financially and professionally, they often make an impressive team. Leo's boldness attracts opportunities, while Libra's judgment ensures wise choices. Where one might take a leap, the other checks the landing. This doesn't dampen their spark, it enhances it. They build not just a relationship but an empire of shared vision and emotional intelligence. At their best, their shared values create an atmosphere of mutual admiration. Leo loves Libra's fairness, her sense of justice, her ability to see beauty in everything. Libra loves Leo's confidence, his devotion, and the sheer warmth he brings into her life. They never stop being each other's cheerleaders, even when life gets busy or demanding. Still, balance remains their eternal lesson. Leo must remember that ambition doesn't always need applause. Sometimes the quiet moments are where real success happens. Libra must remember that harmony isn't about avoiding conflict but about finding peace through it. When they keep these truths close, their partnership doesn't just survive, it thrives. Ultimately, Leo and Libra share not just values but a philosophy that life is meant to be lived beautifully, courageously, and with heart. They believe that love should feel like art, not static, but ever evolving. They want to grow together, to build something lasting, something others look at and feel inspired by. Their shared goals become a reflection of their shared spirit, a balance of fire and air, passion and grace, individuality and togetherness. They remind each other that love is not just about finding the right person, it's about building the right life. And when Leo and Libra build together, they don't just create a home or a partnership, they create a masterpiece. Final thoughts. So, what's the verdict on the Leo man and Libra woman? In essence, they're two halves of a shining whole, fire and air dancing together in radiant harmony. Their relationship is a blend of passion and grace, of power and gentleness. They'll face challenges, yes, ego clashes, occasional misunderstandings, moments when Leo's roar feels too loud or Libra's silence too long. But through love, admiration, and compromise, they can turn those differences into strength. When Leo learns to love with humility and Libra learns to trust with confidence, they create a partnership that glows from within. They become the kind of couple who inspires others, not because they're perfect, but because they choose each other every single day. And that, dear friends, is the truest form of cosmic compatibility.